Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Knowing the Rules, a show about sports on the campus of Kane University. On today's show, we will be focusing on the Kane baseball program and have some guests from the team be on our show. Our first guest is a special one. He has been a coach at Kane for over 25 years. He has led the Cougars to 14 NCAA tournaments, a Division III World Series championship, and well over 700 wins as head coach of the Cougars. We welcome Neil Ayovero, head coach of baseball at Kane University. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
You have put together quite the career as a coach here at Kane. Did you ever expect to be where you are now?
I mean, when I was growing up and playing, there's nothing like being the player. You're in the arena as the player, and I wanted to make it to the major leagues. And when you hit 25 years old, technically you're an old man in the sport. So the next best thing is coaching. So once the playing career was over, yes, I expected to be doing this probably till I drop dead.
That's a good dream, is it? Who are some of the people who have helped you build the baseball program over the years?
When we first started, you have to remember I was 24 years old as a head coach, and I think I might have been the youngest in the country. So we didn't have any facilities, we didn't have any nice uniforms, we didn't have anything to show off at the school, so recruiting was very difficult. So the only thing that we could sell is the type of program they were going to play for, the coaches they were going to be around, the commitment that we were going to make, and slowly but surely, we started to get the school just expanded year after year. Every year I've been here, it's been amazingly how it's expanded from facilities, buildings, different people in leadership. It's gotten better, since the beginning. And so the people who originated was, I had a guy named Louis France who played for me that first year or two that I was here, and then he became an assistant coach, because I was an assistant coach for 2 years before I became the head coach. And then I had a man who was like my mentor, my father, my grandfather, best friend, colleague. His name was Jack Nagy, and he coached with me every minute of every day for all those years, and he passed away in October of 2019. So if you look on the back of our hats, you'll see his initials. But those two people started with me. Then I had my brother played here for a couple of years. He coached with me for many years. And I had Frank Beckhorn, who's our best player of all time. He coached with me for many, many years. So they were all a part of that beginning stage of the, the commitment that we made back then.
It's a pretty big family. Did you ever think you would become a coach, and how exactly did you get into it? Because obviously you talked about how you were 24, you got in, but why did you decide to go into coaching?
It's weird. I played at Rutgers, and I had a pitching coach who was a really good player, one of the best high school players ever. He went to the University of Miami, and he ended up finishing at Kane and getting a teaching degree. So when I would play for him, I would just see what his life was like. He was teaching and coaching. He had the summers off. He just had a really good life. He was always happy and in a good mood. And so that kind of inspired me. Like once I got done at Rutgers, I had to find another place to go to school, because believe it or not, the State University didn't even have teaching at the time. You couldn't leave there as a certified teacher. So I came to Kane on his recommendation, and I got started. And so I was still playing some professional baseball, like in those independent leagues and stuff. And while that was going on, I was coaching my brother's high school team. And it was the weirdest feeling, because I was a pitcher. I was a left-handed pitcher. So when you pitch, it's like playing a football game. You're pitching once a week, and if it's a good, you have a good game, it's a good week. If you don't, it's miserable. The food doesn't taste good. You're angry all week until you get back out there again. So I had that feeling as a pitcher on game days, let's say, and all of a sudden I start coaching, and I start having those feelings every day, no matter who we're playing, a good team, a bad team, like because you have this fear as a coach, like when you're playing someone that may not be as good as you, you don't want to lose that game. And when you're playing someone that may be better than you on that day, you want to find the way to figure out how to beat them. And these feelings came up basically as if I was playing while I was coaching. I was like, I think this is for me, because there's a lot of emotions that go through being a coach. Like we have days when we're just like, I'm in this rut, right now, where it's angry and devastated and upset, and but then there's days that you feel euphoric, where you just, I can't believe you're on cloud nine, everything's going great, and you just, it's a wave of emotions that I don't think the average job profession gets on a daily basis.
Wow, that's amazing. But what is the main emphasis that you teach the team in order to win your games? Because I can see that you're very into it as a coach. You're basically like, well, in other terms, in like other sports, you're like a 12th man, give or take, right? So like, what is it? What is your typical routine during gameplay? Any traditions, anything? How do you help the team out like that while they go out there on the field?
I mean, if you poll any coach around any sport, high school, college, youth league, whatever you want to, professional, everyone wants a win, okay? And so the question is, are you willing to make the commitment that goes into the winning? And most of the winning is done in your off seasons, in the summertime when you're recruiting, and you have to put a ridiculous amount of time and effort in when nobody's necessarily watching. And so if you talk about the pyramid, and at the top of the pyramid is winning, you have all the building blocks that go into this. Does a person have perseverance? Do they have good character? They're going to be a good student, a good teammate, and go on and on and on and on up the list. If you put together all those pieces, to be honest with you, the winning's kind of easy because it's all in place. So I think like one of the the things that we do that not a lot of other people do is we focus on everything but winning. I'll care how you wear the uniform, if you're being on time, how you're treating people, how your actions are on a daily basis, and I commit to every little thing that nobody else thinks matters. And if I make a big deal out of the little things, then they understand how important everything is. We can't pick and choose what's important. Everything's important all the time. And so we don't really focus on the winning. I need to tell them what the expectations are and what we expect. But if you prepare them on the field, off the field, you spend time with them, you get to know them, like the winning takes care of itself.
Wow. So would you say that this is like one of the unique coaching experiences that you give? Is this like your certain coaching style? Or is there anything else that you attempt to do out of the ordinary to help out the team that other coaches wouldn't do?
I think I'm willing to be in the trenches, and I want our assistants to be in the trenches too, so it wouldn't be anything weird to come out and watch me sweeping the dugout, lifting stuff all the time, and we had the dirt field, raking the mound, constantly dragging out screens. Like there's nothing that I'm above. I kind of believe like in the military system where the guy on the top has to ask you to do only what he can do. I'm not going to bark out orders and make you do stuff that I'm not willing to do. So first it's getting in the trenches with them and them seeing that you're doing the same thing. You're not just talking about it, you're doing it. It's practicing what you preach. So I do think we're integrated with them on a daily basis. We spend a lot of time, like right now we're going through an insane amount of injuries and people sick and you name it. Like we're constantly texting them, calling them, making sure they're okay. It's not just the baseball part of it. So I think we're willing to go that extra mile.
Yeah, so you're all one big family. You're like the dad leading the way. That's really nice. What is your favorite moment from your coaching career here at Kane so far?
I mean, there's hardly anybody around except maybe Lou France who coaches with me now that would understand where we've come to where where we started to where we got to at a certain point. So it's like been a wave of emotions. Like when you first start out, I'm young. I'm only 24 years old, and I kind of have to act older, to keep up with the older coaches. They're in their 40s and 50s and 60s, and like you got to act a certain way, and because, you don't want to, show your age at that point. Basically, it's a tough, situation, but you're trying to just keep up and just establish yourself and be taken serious, basically. So like how you get taken serious is obviously you got to beat people on the field, you got to beat them and out recruiting them, and that starts to turn things around. So it's been so weird for me because I know where we've come from. So some of my most joyous moments are with teams that didn't even accomplish what the World Series teams did or teams after that. It's been the climb. I talk about the climb all the time. So when you have this climb, you're constantly climbing, and you're looking in kids' faces and they don't know if they can do it. They might be able to do it, but you're like willing your way to do it, and then you do it. So now you hit a point where like we had a stretch run where like there's not too many people in the country at any level of sport that would have that kind of, success, and now you're at the top. Yeah. And so everybody's coming for you now. Now you're at the top of the mountain, and they're all crawling up the mountain trying to drag you down. And the quest is, can you do it again? Can you do it again? Okay, next year, can you do it again? And then like when we had the COVID situation, things just kind of filtered out because we didn't play that year. The next year after that, we were limited. Like we haven't really gotten going in full swing until basically this year. So it's like, you're constantly trying to find something to motivate you to get back to where you were. You're never satisfied is the point.
Wow. So how do you feel about how the season has gone so far for the baseball team?
Right now, it hasn't gone up to this point as we predicted. We started off very strong. We had a good beginning, and then we went to Florida, and we're dealing with a lot of injuries. I mean, we're dealing like we get to the point now where we're texting out only the players that can practice. Can you come out to practice? Because we don't want guys just standing around and wait like they could be doing other things in rehab or studying. We have 31 players on the team. Yesterday there was 19 out. I'm 19 in practice. Then this morning get up, 3 more people who's got food poisoning, who's sick. It seems to be happening on a daily basis where we have a lot of injuries. So we're trying to overcome a lot right now. So I'm looking at this as one of my biggest personal challenges to get this figured out with whatever situation we're dealing with. We have something in our locker room that's a quote by Dr. Wayne Dyer, who passed away. It's called arrange the pieces to go your way. So like whatever pieces you have, keep arranging them to go your way, and not necessarily complain about it because nobody cares. You got to get the job done somehow, and so like we're looking at that right now. We think we're going to get players back as the next couple of weeks go on, and hopefully we can get back on track.
Wow. Well, Coach, this was a great time, but unfortunately we need to end the segment here. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to be here. It's much appreciated. Good luck to you and the team for the rest of the season.
God bless. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming. Coming up next, stay tuned for the On the Field segment of our show, highlighted the Kane baseball program. We will be back after this message.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid
knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
What are you doing in there?
What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
Takes a swing, and wow, great job sliding into third, but that is the first run of the day scored by Brett Hilsheimer.
Yeah, that's a tough one there. Aaron Double as the former batter in Costanzo, but he managed to line this one deep to left field. Another chance here. This one grabbed no problem. One-handed, though, from Nick Houghton. Ground ball to the second baseman. Stays back on it, handles it, hard throw over to first, 4-3, ground out. Shortstop still on as Diefenbach on the mound. Quick grounder to third. Hilsheimer handles it, throws over in time, one away, quick out. Big swing, big drive to left field. Can the left fielder get under it? He can, and it's going to go over the wall for a ground rule double off the bounce. The bouncy turf maybe stopping him from getting a triple if he... opening day. And he rips that one over the head of the first baseman. He might be going for two. He is. Jackson should get a double out of this. The throw is in. Jackson sliding safely. A leadoff double. Josh Jackson. The Cougars have life.
Deals. Chopper short, double play ball. On the second one, on the first, there's a double play. Pitch to Stone. Swung on. Is that fair? It's a fair ball. Base hit down the left field line. They're going to, he had trouble. They're going to run Moreno. He's ran at third. He's headed home. No throw home, and it's a RBI double for the true freshman left fielder Tyler Stone, and that is a much-needed run for Kane University. Lolo from the stretch, sets, he deals, swung on, line drive to left field. It's going to be caught, but the runner's going to tag, and the runner scores. Polone will come in after a beautiful piece of hitting. Pitch. Line drive over the shortstop's head into left center field. That's going to go all the way to the wall. They're going to send. Are they going to send him? They're going to send. They're going to send Moreno home. And that's going to be an RBI double for who else but the true freshman Tyler Prevost, who is having a superb start to the season. A walk from White. Here's the pitch. Swung on. They popped him up. First base side. Right fielder calls him off. Oh my goodness, it's an error. Prevost scores.
Only one away. Rips at the first pitch again, skying behind the first baseman this time, and it lands. It looks like it was fair. I believe it is. A run is going to score. It'll be second and third. The base is loaded, in fact. Only runners advance just one base. One to Nick Houghton, another right-handed bat against the left-handed Giglio. Drives this one up the middle. It'll be a base hit. Should drive in one, maybe two. Rounding third. The throw is offline. He's safe. We have a tie game. Runners hold on at first and second. Dancing lead off first. He is going. Throw down. Should be in time. And it is. A great throw by Josh Jackson on what was a pretty good jump by Fritsch. But they throw him out at second. And that'll do it for the inning. No runs. 2-2 from Yonker. Little looping pitch up the middle. A base hit for Caleb Rodriguez. Just finding the hole. Yonker. 2 on the way. Driven up the middle, right to the shortstop. Could be 2. Steps on second. Throw to first. Not in time to get the out at second. Now Jackson is up. Little check swing right to the shortstop again. He's going to go to first, and it's picked. Did he come off the bag? They're going to call him out. But a run comes in anyhow. Buddy out. RBI in his last at-bat on a fielder's choice. A chopper again to the second baseman, and he misplays it. It's an error. One run's going to score. Another run's coming home, and the Cougars tie the game. He's safe. He is safe. The Cougars are tied 7-7. An error at second base by Luis Fuentes. Jackson is on first. It's first and third now. Pitch on the way, swung on into center field, and it falls in. It falls in. The RBI and game-winning hit. Tyler Provost. The Cougars win.
We're helping our classmates. Aquí ayudamos a quienes les gusta comer postres ricos.
I'm helping my customers.
Sí, muito obrigada. Tchauzinho. Eu estou a fazer isto para ajudar a minha família, comunidade e amigos.
Hi, my name is Mark Montclair, the health director for the town. Getting vaccinated is the best way to ensure that we continue to help others in our community. COVID-19 vaccines are safe, effective, and free. So please continue to help your community by getting vaccinated at one of our upcoming vaccination clinics. Remember, together we can help our community.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid
knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Welcome back to Knowing the Rules, a show about sports on the campus of Kane University. For our next segment, we welcome catcher of Kane University, Josh Jackson, to the show.
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
How you doing? Josh, thank you very much for being here today. What made you come to Kane and be part of the baseball program?
So when I was in high school, I got recruited by Kane, and Neil will tell you all the time that he thinks I big leagued them, which I didn't. But at the time, I wasn't really talking too much with them. Ended up going to Delaware State my first year, and I liked the atmosphere there. I liked being there. I just didn't enjoy the baseball. And in my head, it's if I'm not enjoying the baseball, everything else is going to be miserable. So I left Delaware State, and I went to Brookdale to kind of get myself acclimated, get my credits together. And I reached back out to Neil, and I asked, would you guys still like to have me? Like, I love the things you guys do here. I like the culture. They have coaches for every position. They have guys that care, and they make it seem like you want to be out there. When the coaches want to be out there, it makes the players want to be out there, and it made me enjoy playing baseball.
So what was the recruitment process like for baseball? How does it work? You email them, or they come to you?
So usually you go, you play at this huge tournament somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and there's scouts everywhere. They watch you play. And then they kind of reach out to you. There's a certain point, I'm not too specific on the dates or anything, when they're allowed to reach out to you. And they either contact your travel coach, your high school coach, and they say, we're interested in a player. And you kind of like talk back and forth with them to see if you get a feel for them. And they even invite you on a visit depending on if they like you. And that's really how the process starts off.
So when did you know that playing baseball in college was going to be an opportunity for you?
So I was a two-sport athlete in high school. I played football and baseball. And so I was pretty good in both, but I was like, the lifetime of a football player isn't too long.
The executive position, and he's like, maybe not?
Yeah, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll switch to baseball. Yeah. And so I played baseball, and it was probably about like my sophomore year. I was out playing like varsity all the time, and my coach is saying that he thinks that I have a good chance of playing at the next level if I wanted to. And it was always like, yeah, I was interested in it. It's fun, like I enjoy playing baseball. It's something to do, keeps me active. And then junior year, or the summer before junior year, I started really playing, traveling a lot, and I got my name out there. People started noticing me, and that was really when I thought, okay, I could definitely play at the next level.
So what is your favorite part of being a player in Kane's baseball program?
So my favorite part is that nothing's given to you. You got to earn every single thing that you have. So there's guys that they were the best players on their high school, but you got to come and prove that now. Like everybody's their best player in their high school somewhere. So you got to make a name for yourself. Nothing's given to you. You got to earn it. You got to work hard in the weight room, in the classroom, on the baseball field, even as a person. Like you can't go around being a jerk to everybody. So it's a good feeling when they reward you that you're doing the right thing.
That's cool. So what is your favorite moment from your time here on the team?
That's tough because my first year here was COVID and it got shut down. Yeah. The next year, I was dealing with COVID, so I didn't really play too much. So it had to have been, I guess, last year. That was the first time I really got to play for the team. And I don't know if it's my favorite, but it definitely sticks with me all the time. We made it to the NJAC Tournament Championship. So being there in the beginning, it's like, oh, you guys love being here. And we didn't think we were going to get there to start. But we're there, we're playing, and we end up losing. And I wouldn't say it's my favorite memory, but it's all I think about because I know what it's like to lose there, and I want to go back to go and win it.
Yeah, of course. It's a nice comeback story. So do you expect to still be around the game when your time here at Kane is over?
So to begin with, unfortunately not. I'm going to work an internship with a professional football team. So
going back to football.
So going back to football. At some point, I'd like to get back to baseball, whether it be my major is athletic training, so either being the athletic trainer or, you know, helping out coaching or something with baseball, because in the end, baseball is my first love. So I'll make my way back to it at some point.
Is there anything that you've learned from playing baseball that you apply to your everyday lifestyle?
Honestly, everything you learn in baseball, like I said, I'm a catcher. So leadership is a big thing, how to be a leader on the field, off the field, how to talk to guys. There's different guys with different personalities, so you got to communicate with them, talking with the coaches, because sometimes you have to be the barrier between the coaches and the players. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. And then honestly, I've built the best friendships with people who I never thought I'd be friends with playing baseball, and it just teaches me that like there's guys out there that have your back even when you don't think, and vice versa.
You know, I always say catcher's the real leader of the sport, and it's like you give the pitchers a little bit of credit, but catcher's like who's the real guy. That's who the catcher is.
I agree.
But Josh, thank you so much for coming in today. We're unfortunately out of time, but we appreciate you coming in and doing this for us today.
No, thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming. So that concludes another episode of Knowing the Rules. Thank you very much for watching. Tune in next week for our episode covering the Kane University cross country team. Have a great day.